Recently I bought some books that I usually wouldn't really go for. The ones that I'm usually skeptical of are things like bestsellers. I have to admit, I'm just a little prejudiced in that sense. I don't think I've ever read a bestseller book that I think has been good. I mean, I haven't read many, but I've been discouraged from reading certain ones because of reviews and stuff like that. I just find that they don't tend to be very reliable. Reviews, especially from bestsellers, don't tend to be very reliable. Sometimes they're really uncritical. I basically talked about stuff like that before, but I just don't believe in them that much. But recently I bought some of them. These are mostly bestsellers, and some of them are even YA and stuff like that. And I watched some videos from people whose reviews I trust, and went for favorite YA, favorite, popular books and stuff like that, to get some recommendations. Because, the thing is, if I expect masterpieces from these books, I might be disappointed. But if I go into them expecting the worst, I might actually be overly critical and really nitpicky about it. So I decided to get the ones that I actually just was very interested in. This is Little Fires Everywhere. And this is a book that I was actually interested in from the beginning, from the first time I read, or I watched a mention of it. I think it was probably like a wrap-up or a haul or something like that. I don't even remember which YouTuber I heard it from, but this is apparently super popular, because I went on Goodreads, and it has a very high rating, and it's also it has many ratings and many reviews. So I was like, you know what? From the synopsis that not the synopsis, but this YouTuber explained the plot of this book, and I was really interested. I was like, hey, that might be like a really deep commentary on like social or political issues or something like that. It is about two families basically, and one of them is quite rich and the other is poor and kind of nomadic really. And basically this richer family, they kind of start having some conflict with each other, and from the beginning we know that it ends in the house of the richer family, the Richardsons are actually called, being burnt down. So it's actually, I mean, it's kind of a mystery in a way. Now, I have already read this book, and a review is coming on this very soon. I have mixed feelings about this book. I don't hate it, but I definitely am not in the majority. I have, like I said, mixed feelings about it. I don't think it's worth the hype. And again, review will be coming on this one. This is the only one out of this whole that I have already read. I was really interested, and I just wanted to read it. I'm glad I read it, to be honest with you, even though I wasn't such a huge fan of it. But I do think that as an author, she seems to have a lot of potential, so I am interested in more things by her. This one that was recommended a lot by a lot of mostly YA-centered YouTubers, Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This, again, really out of my comfort zone, especially because it seems to be kind of fantasy, and I don't know. I mean, for one, I read very little fantasy books in the first place, but I especially am not used to them. And sometimes I'm surprised by things a lot, especially things that I'm usually not into, or I think that I'm usually not into, but really I just haven't had enough of them, or I just haven't read the good ones and stuff like that. So I don't think there's any particular genre that we should kind of reject altogether. I think there's great stuff in every genre that we can discover. I'm actually really interested in this one. I'm not sure why exactly, but I think it's because it's so separated from what I usually go to. There's been so many YouTubers, booktubers, who have recommended this to their general audiences, and I really like them and trust their opinions. So this is really something that I'm hoping, and I actually am straight up expecting to really like. Another one, this one is not that much out of my comfort zone. This is Old Man's War by John Scalzi. It is a bestseller and also award-winning. Well, the author himself is, I'm not sure if this novel itself is a bestseller, but this is a science fiction novel that was recommended by Books with Emily Fox. I watch her channel a lot. I also like her makeup channel. I found her through the makeup channel, but anyway, I really like her, and I just really trust her opinions. And this was one of the ones that this is not YA or anything, I'm pretty sure, but this was one of the ones that she said was her favorite, or one of her favorite science fiction books of all time, if I remember correctly. So I'm pretty excited to read this one. I've read science fiction before, and they tend to be my favorite types of books, or at least the ones that I'm most interested in, and just the most entertained by. This one is, I think, a contemporary, a YA book, I'm pretty sure. This is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is quite known. It actually says #1 New York Times bestseller, and a lot of people have been talking about this book. It's pretty long. Another thing kind of out of my comfort zone, because I'm kind of slow with my reading, like really slow. It definitely has a lot of praise, and I'm glad I got this edition, because it's red on the inside. It's pretty cute. I really like this edition. I really hope I like it, because I'm kind of really into hardcovers, and I have very few hardcovers. So I'm pretty excited for this one. This is one of the few that I kind of knew the plot for, and I was kind of interested from the beginning, even before, hearing especially positive reviews and stuff like that. So, and also because, I think this book is from last year, and also Little Fires Everywhere is from 2017, and I'm usually not super relevant and up to date with my reviews and the books that I read and that I talk about on this channel, to be honest with you. I rarely read books that are super recent. It's not because I don't think they'll be good. It's more like I think I should catch up with the past stuff before, which makes no sense. You'll never be able to catch up with the classics and stuff like that, because there's so many of them. I mean, it's just not possible, but regardless. I am excited about this book. I was actually thinking of reading this one after Little Fires Everywhere, but I figured that I would start reading one of the books that I have hauled before a long time ago, and that I should have been getting into a long time ago. So these will be read soon, hopefully this year. The last one of this out of my comfort zone pile is this, again, you'll instantly recognize this. This is very talked about, Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have heard about this book so much, it's not even funny. It's probably the most mentioned book that I have seen, at least from the booktubers that I watch the most. And it's been quite praised. I've never seen a review or a mention of this book that implied that the booktuber didn't like it, or just everyone seems to like this a lot, or at least think that it's a decent read. So I am interested in it. Again, it's not something that I usually go for. Not only is it huge, but it is a YA read, a bestseller. And it is also made, a lot of people mentioned this already, so I'm sure you already know this, but it's made out of like documents and stuff like that. So it's not written in like a narration, a usual narration prose. It's more like different types of formats. And I am interested in that sort of thing. That was kind of what happened with House of Leaves. And I was never able to even get through halfway of that book because I don't really understand it. I hope I do understand this one. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people talk about it and love it. So, sometimes it's good not to be a hipster bitch. The last couple books that I wanted to mention are these two. I got these two from a thrift shop recently, in a different place from these ones. Those I got from Barnes & Noble. These I got from a book thrift store, I guess they're called. And this is another edition of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which I do have in Spanish, but I decided that it was kind of pointless to have it in Spanish and not in English, because obviously it wasn't written in English, and I do understand English, so I should maybe have read it. I don't know. But I also have Slaughterhouse-Five now, This is definitely one that I'm very interested in, especially because it's so short. A lot of people whose reviews I trust and such seem to really love this. And there's a lot of people whose favorite book is this, or one of their favorite books is this one. So I don't know, I'm just really curious about it. I'm curious about all these books. The thing is, you know, having the time, the motivation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you have thought about these books if you have read them. If any of these are your favorites, definitely tell me about it. So yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!